No Texas, but Texas A&M is hosting a playoff game.
Great transition.
11 a.m. local time. This is the second of the 4 first-round games. Miami going to Texas A&M. I think this is by far the most interesting of the first-round games. It's not a rematch, and it's one of the games that has a close spread. And it's also the teams that made their case by beating Notre Dame. So a lot of familiarity, a lot of tape when you can watch for both of these sides. And also, these are quarterbacks that have had incredible moments. And then they've also had games where they've thrown a bunch of interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You've got elite receivers. Like, I love that Malachi Tony is in the college football playoff, but also you've got Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion. You got like a bunch of explosive players waiting to take over this game. You've got Mike Elko, who has really improved Texas A&M's defense, but have they been tested a lot? We had a lot of questions, right? And then they go and they lose to Texas in their first real test of the latter part of the season. And then Miami, they also have not been tested as of late. They're blowing everybody out. They're getting their style points in. And now they go to Kyle Field, which I'm bummed this game isn't at night, because I just think, like, we love the campus games. Kyle Field, yes. Incredible atmosphere. Wish it wasn't 11 a.m. local. I'm sure the fans feel the same way. But when you look at this game, Joshua, we got to start with the quarterbacks, right? Like that's where the conversation begins, because they have made mistakes, but they have also been very, very prolific. And look at that. Exactly the same 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions on the season for Carson Beck and Marcel Reed.
Oh my God. The yards per attempt too, which is amazing for those guys, 8.7 each. They are twins. It's such an interesting thing, Nicole. Because Carson Beck, when he's at his best, is a steady hand, right? Like, he's a guy that you can tell he's veteran. He'll make the right plays, and then he'll just have the moments where he's just throwing interceptions in droves. And then Marcel Reed feels a little bit more like the roller coaster, where you get the exciting play, you get the explosive over the top play, you get him using his legs, but he'll throw it to you, or he'll at least try to. Whether you catch it or not is up to you. And so, like, I'm curious, in the time that they've had to prepare for this game, how have you managed your quarterback and what their expectations are, and how you game plan for them to go out there, maybe get some of those easy completions early, settle into the game? For Marcel Reed, can you get him some runs early in that game? He had I believe it was the knee that kind of looked funny, or the ankle or whatever, late in the year. But I think managing the quarterbacks is probably as big of a storyline here as anything else. And for A&M, I think there's a defensive storyline there too that I think is really important for them. But on offense, get the guys the throws, right? Like create the plays, design the plays, get them into the game plan. Don't let them lose it on their arm, because either one of them can win it or lose it on their arm.
I think that's a really good way to put it. And I'm with you. I think I trust Carson Beck more in this situation. And when he has been his best. Listen, we've also seen him be very, very bad and throw interceptions in bunches. Both of these guys have, but Carson Beck has so much experience under his belt in games like this, in big moments. We don't have the injury report for these last 3 games, but Le'Veon Moss did participate in practice on Tuesday. We saw some videos and some clips from the beat writers who were able to watch part of practice. So that would be big for them. You mentioned the Texas A&M defense, though. So walk us through the defensive sides of both of these teams, because we have spent a lot of time talking about Miami's D-line. We have spent a lot of time talking about what Mike Elko has done with this defense, how good they are, especially on third down, in putting you in situations to be in third and long. So what are the keys on the defensive sides?
Yeah, I think for A&M, it's been fun watching their defense, because they can create the havoc plays. And to your point, watching them on third downs has been amazing. Cassius Howe, to me, is somebody who you should just, if you have an opportunity in a drive, just watch him. Just watch him for a drive and see what he can do. But it's an aggressive defense by nature. They want their defensive line to play vertically. They want them to penetrate and get into the backfield. That can hurt you, because it creates seams in the run game where they have given up some explosive runs. If you don't get to the quarterback, maybe there are some holes in the back end because of how aggressive A&M wants to be. And so I think that it's been a little bit of this roller coaster on really both sides of the football, where at their best, we're like, they can win a title. But when their defense is giving up the plays and when they're over aggressive and when they over pursue, now you start to see offenses find some success. They have been schemed up a little bit. So I think that's going to be a question there. For the Miami side of things, it's two guys. It's Bane and it's Messidor. And I think Messidor's probably played a little bit better than Bane for the totality of the year. Like, he might be the pass rusher that I fear a little bit more, even if Bane is the one who's getting all of the NFL draft hype. If you cannot protect against those two guys, they're going to ruin your day. And I think it's a benefit to A&M that Marcel Reed is a mobile quarterback, because it just makes it that much harder to rush the passer. But to me, on the defense for Miami, it starts up front, and it's the two bookend rushers. Those guys are 100% bona fide draft picks that can ruin your day if you let them.
Do you think there is an advantage when you look at, like, let's say Miami's D-line and Texas A&M's offensive line, but also throw in Marcel's legs and his ability to move?
I think that both of the defensive lines have a little bit of an edge to me. I think that there are two really well put together, aggressive groups that are great at their craft. Now, if I had to grade which offensive line I like better, I like Miami's better. And I love what they've done mixing in the run game with the pass game. I talked about balance with Alabama a little bit earlier.
You also have you have a head coach who, like, that's his roots.
Yeah, he's an O-line guy, right? So, like, you anticipate that he's going to have that group ready to roll for the postseason. But I like both of the defensive lines to be able to cause a little bit of trouble in this matchup.
One other interesting point with actually a lot of these first round games is these teams have had 2 weeks off. These are not a lot of participants in the SEC championship game. Alabama is the only one. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
No, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
No, wait, Texas Tech has a bye. So yeah, just Alabama. Everybody else is at 2 weeks. They didn't know their opponent the whole time, but like Oklahoma and A&M, they knew they were going to host games. Like, you knew you could do certain things, or at least self-scout, get healthy in certain areas. So I think
is the important portion. And, you know, it's kind of what the people who are waiting around right now are doing. Like, everybody's like, oh, you got to whatever. And it's like, there's only so much that you can do except for work on yourself. But like, that is a huge advantage. The having a week to say, what the hell do we need to get better at before we figure out our matchup is a big deal.
So Ohio State gets the winner of this game. Joshua,
Yeah.
If you're Ohio State, would you rather play?
It's an interesting question. I think this is the weird part about it is I feel like I think Miami is a little bit slightly better football team, but A&M is that one where if they're playing at their very top end, you don't want to see them. So I kind of think Miami's the one. Yeah, I mean, those wide receivers can hurt you. Mobile quarterback, I'm always scared of. And we saw what Indiana could do with an aggressive defensive line. Like, I think it might be Miami is the one that you want to see, even though I think they're probably a more consistent team at this point.
And I think Miami lost inexplicable games, right? Mm-hmm. Like A&M came back in that South Carolina game we spent a lot of time on, but like, they lost to a good team.
Yep.
And you know, we always talk about like Mario Cristobal. Is he potentially going to make an in-game decision that cost them a game? Like you just kind of always wonder. I feel like I have more faith in Mike Elko. So I think I would, if I'm Ohio State, I think I would also rather play Miami.